The mahogany desk gleamed. A gold pen lay casually across a stack of papers. A man sat in the leather chair, his suit crisp, his watch worth more than most people would see in a lifetime. This was the office of a Kenyan politician, a man elected to serve the people. But service was far from his mind. His phone buzzed. A deal was in motion. Millions of shillings were about to change hands, destined not for schools or hospitals, but for offshore accounts and luxury properties. The man smiled. His conscience was a small price to pay for such wealth. The people? They would never know. Or so he thought. Across the city, a different reality unfolded. A hospital, overcrowded and underfunded, groaned under the weight of suffering. The air hung heavy with the stench of disinfectant and despair. Patients lay on stretchers in hallways, their eyes pleading for a cure that seemed out of reach. Doctors and nurses, overworked and underpaid, moved like ghosts through the chaos. Their faces, etched with exhaustion, reflected the toll of a system crumbling from within. They had taken an oath to heal, but their hands were tied, their spirits broken. This was the true face of corruption, a human cost etched in every cough, every groan, every tear shed in that overcrowded ward. A young mother clutched her child, his breathing labored, his skin clammy with fever. They had been turned away from 3 hospitals, their pleas for help met with shrugs and whispers of no beds, no medicine, no hope. Her heart pounded with fear. She had seen the politician's face on billboards, promising a brighter future. But that future seemed a world away, a cruel joke in the face of her child's suffering. Where was the justice? Where was the humanity? Her silent screams echoed the anguish of a nation held hostage by greed. But something was changing. The whispers of discontent were growing louder, fueled by anger and desperation. On the streets, a storm was brewing. People from all walks of life, united by shared suffering, were rising up. They marched on the streets, their voices a chorus of defiance. They demanded accountability, transparency, and an end to the culture of impunity that had plagued their nation for too long. The politician, once untouchable in his ivory tower, now watched with growing unease. The tide was turning. The people had found their voice, and they were determined to be heard. The fight for Kenya's soul had begun.